Hey, we've talked about Alex Anzalone maybe holding out, but what about one other guy?
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We got another week of Locked On Lions in store for you, everybody. What's happening? Matt Derry with you on a Monday, July 14th, and a Tuesday, July 15th. Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Folks, we are going to have in 2 weeks and 3 days a preseason game to talk about. Yes, the Hall of Fame game's coming up. Lions rookies will report to Allen Park, the Meyer Performance Center, 222 Rodwood Drive this Wednesday. So a lot happening here on Locked On Lions. Welcome in. Glad you be with us. Thanks for making us your first listen. Checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Lions today, brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app if you're looking for tickets. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Thanks to everybody that checks us out on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. If you are not a subscriber, hop on there and hit that subscribe button. Our everydayers, the listeners that are out there that listen or watch every day, we love you guys. Thank you very much. If you want to be an everydayer, just hop on with us and stick with us. Plus, a lot of our everydayers also contend for call of the day. We will play a call of the day later on in the show. Want to be our call of the day? It's simple. Go to www.speakpipe.com/Derry, DERY podcast page, speakpipe.com/Derry podcast page. Leave a voicemail. We got a ton of submissions. I kind of called you guys out last week and girls. And we got some good submissions, certainly for call of the day. We will play one of the best ones coming up a little bit later on in the program today. Tomorrow, managing editor of VSiN, Vegas Sports and Information Network. They do a lot of odds making. They talk a lot about numbers. Adam Burke is going to join us tomorrow from VSiN on the program. If you missed last week and anything we missed, we did, including Natalie Kerwin, who is, by the way, incredible. Natalie was awesome on Thursday from FanDuel Sports Detroit. I'll go back and watch last week. All right, coming up on the program today, we got a little issue with Tate Ratledge, maybe. And it's not with Tate Ratledge, it's with the system. We will explain coming up momentarily as rookies will report, or at least all of them are supposed to report on Wednesday. Jared Goff is called soft. Jared Soft by LaVar Arrington. We will tell you what LaVar had to say about Jared and the Lions quarterback coming up. Edge rusher old bit has been dusted off. This time from NFL insider Adam Caplan, who brings up his worries about the Lions. And again, we'll also do our call of the day as well, coming up in a little bit here on Locked On Lions. All right, so excited. Rookies on the field on Thursday and undrafted free agents on the field on Thursday in Allen Park to officially open up training camp. Then on Saturday, the team will have their first full squad practice. So you've got rookies on Wednesday. Wait a minute, 16th and 19th, Wednesday, Thursday. No, rookies on Wednesday, first practice Thursday. Veterans report on Saturday, first practice Sunday. Let's get that right, on the 20th. So can you believe this? The Lions are all going to be on the field this week to start up training camp. But the big concern right now, for me at least, is will Tate Ratledge, the Lions' second-round pick, the guard/center, be there with the rest of the rookies on Wednesday? Tate Ratledge is unsigned right now, and there's a epidemic going around the NFL with second-round picks. And a couple of listeners hit us up on Twitter about it at Derry Speaks, but you've got 30 of the 32 second-round picks currently unsigned. That's because the Cleveland Browns, with the number 33 overall pick, Carson Schwessinger, was given, who was the top pick in the second round, was given a guaranteed contract, which is usually unheard of for second round picks. Then the Houston Texans gave the second round pick at number 34 overall, Jaden Higgins, a fully guaranteed deal as well. So back in May, Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network pointed out, this could be trouble and could cause a ripple effect. You also have two holdouts in the first round right now, the Bengals, Shamar Stewart, and the Broncos, Jahdae Barron. They want more money and more contract guarantees. So after Schlesinger and Higgins from picks 35 on, which includes pick 57, which is Tate Ratledge, none of the second round picks from 35 on have been signed. They're all waiting to get their contracts done because I'm sure most of them want what 33 and 34 got from the Browns and Texans, which is guaranteed money. So as of right now, today, on Monday, Tate Ratledge is unsigned. But it's not Tate Ratledge holding out per se. It's Tate Ratledge waiting for the dominoes to fall in front of him. All right, so this isn't just a Lions or Ratledge problem. This is a problem around the league. Only 2 of the 32 second rounders have been signed because all of these second rounders are now asking for, I'm sure, guaranteed money. So we've got an impasse here. What will happen? Here's my issue with Tate Ratledge. The Lions need him there on Wednesday. All right. If he's sitting out, he's missing valuable time to try and win the center job. Frank Ragnow's gone. They need Tate Ratledge. And as I have pointed out on this podcast, Tate Ratledge has never taken a snap from center at all. All right. He played tackle and guard in high school. He was an awesome right guard at Georgia. He has taken some snaps at center at OTAs, and that's about it. All right. The Lions need him at training camp. They did not have a mini camp. If he's not under contract, look, he has to sit out. He's not going to participate in training camp without a contract. It's just not going to happen. OTAs, mini camp, guys sign a rookie participation agreement. It kind of covers them from injury. But in this instance, no. When it comes to an actual contract, Ratledge needs to have it signed. So he's got until Wednesday to get this done, and this is a problem. All right. Everybody talks about, we're going to play the Adam Caplan clip for you coming up in a little bit. He was on the Scott Farrell program on Sports Grid. Farrell on the band, shake it up. Love Scotty. But Ratledge needs to be there. Right. The Lions are taking a good long look at left guard, center, and right guard now. And they're not sure who's playing where. Maybe they know, they're not telling us. You know, Taylor Decker is going to be at left tackle. He's one of the good ones. He's been around a long time, solid player. You've got the best right tackle, I think, in the NFL on your right side in Penei Sewell. The Lions have Graham Glasgow coming back. Question is, will he be at right guard or will he be at center? I don't believe he's going to be at left guard because last year at left guard, he wasn't all that good. All right, Christian Mahogany is likely going to be at left guard. Solid 6th-round pick from a year ago, a guy that really came on toward the end of the year and had a couple of good games when forced into action due to injuries to both Ragnow and Glasgow. All right, you have other options. Giovanni Manu, we have talked about. Miles Frazier, we have talked about. Owashika is there as a backup. You got Dan Skipper. There's a lot of moving parts here. But you took Tate Ratledge at 57 for a reason. The dude is a mauler. He was all SEC the last couple of years. And whether he's at right guard or center, he needs to be at training camp. So I don't know what's going to happen. If pick 35 on down, it starts to take shape. But these agents are dug in. They want the guaranteed contract that the first 2 second-round picks got. And so 30 guys are sitting on the sidelines right now. The Chargers are going to be opening up training camp before anybody else, even before the Lions. So second-round rookie wide receiver Trey Harris has already pretty much announced that he's going to be a holdout. He did not report Saturday. All right, Chargers rookies are on the field right now. And Trey Harris, second round pick, not there. So they're not the only team dealing with this. I'm assuming Ratledge isn't going to be there either. And that blows because Lions need him there. He needs to be taking snaps at center. I think they think he's the guy at center. And maybe it ends up he's going to be. And I know playing with a rookie center and calling out all the signals and everything else, there's been a lot of people saying, just give it to Glasgow. He's got more experience there, which he does. But I believe they knew Frank Ragnow was thinking about retirement, and they took Ratledge and immediately put him at center at rookie minicamp right after the draft. Because I believe they think he's going to be the guy there right away. But it's going to be very difficult on Wednesday or Thursday when they hit the field if he's not there. That's going to stunt his growth and not make things easy at all for the Lions. All right, a national prognosticator, analyst, and former NFL player takes a shot at Jared Goff. We'll tell you about that coming up next right here on a Monday edition of a Locked On Lions. Locked On Lions today brought to you by our friends at Gametime. We've all been there, logging on early, waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories and not dealing with the stress of having to shop for tickets. All right, that's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to game time or to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with killer last-minute deals from Gametime. Are you tired of endless scrolling on your phone trying to find the best deal? Gametime's zone deals pick the best seats in your section for you. And with Gametime, the price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees. My buddy Chris Drew, and he's an everydayer. Shout out to his son G Money. Went to see Dave Matthews recently. He got his tickets on Gametime. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download the Gametime app. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, back on Locked On Lions. It is a Monday edition, everybody. Adam Burke going to join us tomorrow from VSIN, the managing editor over there. Talk a little gambling and numbers and over-unders, betting, everything else. If you love that stuff, we're going to get into that tomorrow with Mr. Burke from VSIN. All right, so I caught this story on Awful Announcing the other day, but Fox Sports Radio host LaVar Arrington, former Washington football team or Redskin or Commander or whatever they were when he played. I think it was Redskins. LaVar Arrington, the former linebacker, took a little bit of a shot the other day at none other than Jared Goff. Goff, of course, has been featured, and it's been on now for about a week on the new quarterback show on Netflix. I still haven't watched it yet. I've got to binge watch it. My wife is even in to watch with me, which is pretty sweet. But on the show, Jared Goff talks about what it felt like to truly feel wanted and getting a little emotional, talking about feeling wanted and coming to Detroit. All right. And it was a very emotional moment and everything else. So on the Two Pros and a Cup of Joe show on Fox Sports Radio on Friday, is there anything worse than some of these names of these radio shows? Hosted by Jonas Knox and LaVar Arrington. They did not feel a lot of sympathy for Goff and were taking some shots at him. Arrington said, quote, quarterbacks must have an alternate reality to other players. It's interesting. We were just talking about Kirk Cousins and how he was misled. They all just sound like some soft mother effers, man. Listen, I can understand what Jared Goff was saying here, but again, this is business. You could throw out there that there should be a level of maturity and different things like that. It must be a different level of communication and entitlement for quarterbacks. He goes on to say, it seems like every time I hear a conversation from them, it represents something you would expect if you had the courtesy of the back and forth. It felt like I wasn't wanted. They didn't want you, and that's why they traded you. Blah, 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 blah. End quote. So LaVar Arrington, who made a living off of attacking quarterbacks and really going after them as an edge rusher, as a pass rusher, as a guy at an outside linebacker. He was a ferocious, ferocious player at Penn State. LaVar Arrington was awesome. All right. But he's basically saying that because Jared Goff opened up on a television show, all right, on a documentary, and talked about his feelings a little bit and how he felt he wasn't wanted anymore in LA, and to be embraced by Detroit, to call him a soft MFer, I think is ludicrous. All right. Just because he's almost basically saying it's a business and every other player on the field, they get cut and they shouldn't be crying about not feeling wanted. That's what Arrington's basically saying. What he's basically saying is quarterbacks are a bunch of sissies. That's what Arrington's basically saying. Soft ass MFers. I don't agree. I don't. Jared Goff was struggling at the end of his Rams career, and the Rams did the right thing. They sent him to a place where he was wanted, and they got a pretty damn good quarterback in return of Matthew Stafford. Why do you have to name call? Why, if you're LaVar Arrington, are you saying it's just the quarterbacks that are soft? Yes, the quarterbacks are the ones in the spotlight the most. This guy got chewed up and spit out by Sean McVay, and McVay admitted it. McVay said, I probably didn't handle it all that well. If McVay had come out and said, look, we were so transparent with Jared, I don't know why Jared's saying what he's saying. No, McVay came out and publicly said, we probably didn't handle the Goff situation the right way for a couple of years. He openly admitted that. So for Goff to get on TV on a show that is featuring him, where they tell him, open up, for him to say, I felt, what does not make him a soft ass. I don't agree with that at all. And I think any player that says, I was promised a certain something and was given a new lease on life and they want to open up about it, doesn't make them soft. I think this is a former defensive player talking that went after quarterbacks and doesn't like quarterbacks. It's like asking Ndamukong Suh about certain quarterbacks he hated playing against. And he will tell you, I wanted to kill them all because those were the pretty boys that got paid a lot of money. But calling Jared Goff a soft ass MFer, I don't think is right at all. All right. Speaking of prognosticators and analysts, NFL analysts, Adam Caplan, analyst for SiriusXM, used to be at ESPN, does some work for Sports Grid now, was on the Scott Farrell program recently. And Caplan was asked about the Lions and what worries him or doesn't worry him about that football team by Scott Farrell. Take a listen to what Adam Caplan had to say about his concerns with the Lions, and then we'll talk about it.
You know, Scott, it's funny. I was on them 3 years ago. That was one of my breakout teams, and they've been very good. No question about it. Aiden Hutchinson's back from his injury, but the issue that I have with them, and obviously the odds makers agree with me, I don't see the Lions as good as they used to be or were last season. But their over-under totals, this is crazy. The 10.5 total, the over is plus money, believe it or not, at plus 110. The under is minus 135. Scott, there's something missing with their defense. And obviously they lost Aaron Glenn, who's a very good coordinator. He's now the Jets head coach. And Kelvin Shepard's their first-time defensive coordinator. He moves from being their linebackers coach to their defensive coordinator. So that's a big change. And by the way, they've got an offensive coordinator change. As we know, Ben Johnson, now the Bears head coach. And John Morton did call the plays many years ago for the Jets. Also called the plays at USC. He's the new offense coordinator. So you got two new coordinators. But the big issue for them is not on offense, Scott. It's on defense. Where's the pass rush to help out Aiden Hutchinson? The cornerbacks are okay. They're deep enough, but the young kids have got to play well. Terrion Arnold, their first-round pick last year, has got to take the next step. Ennis Rakestraw didn't really contribute very much. He was a second-rounder last year at corner. They're great at safety. But the big issue, Scott, to finish off the Lions is where's going to be that pass rush? I've got a major issue with their pass rush. I just don't see it.
I took it a step further, as I always do.
All right, so there it was, Adam Caplan. You know, it's funny. We talk about the pass rush all the time. I'm guilty of it. There is definitely a question about opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Where's the pressure going to come from? And there were some games last year where certainly quarterbacks had their way with the Lions. Jaden Daniels in the playoff game was untouched. Josh Allen. Those are two special players. But I'm also getting a little tired of where's the pass rush going to come from. I'm concerned about the pass rush. I think they're going to be okay there. I think Zadarius Smith is going to be back. So to sit here and say I think the major issue and question mark for the Lions is at center. I think that's a bigger issue than edge rusher. I think Kelvin Shepard's going to find a way to get to the passer. I think he's going to scheme up some stuff. I think a guy like Derek Barnes being healthy, I think a guy like Marcus Davenport being healthy is going to help. Now, again, those two get hurt again. Sure, we can sit here and go, you're asking a lot of Josh Paschal, Al-Qadim Muhammad, etc. But man, everybody just loves to play the edge rusher opposite of Aiden game and said it's a big problem. I don't necessarily think it's a big problem. I think it's an issue for sure, but I think right now as players are healthy, we're going to find out. When Marcus Davenport is healthy, he's pretty good. Yes, I know Zadarius Smith isn't on the roster now, but I think he will be. So I think this continues to get way too much ink, but this seems to be a very popular take with everybody. So there's another NFL analyst taking a little dig at the Lions. Edge rusher opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. We shall see. Maybe somebody will emerge as we get training camp underway this week. All right. Time for call of the day. Again, you want to be our call of the day, go to speakpipe.com/dairy podcast page. That's speakpipe.com/dairy, DERY podcast page. All right, let's do the business here. A lot of really good submissions from many of you in regards to our call of the day. I kind of called some of you out. And yes, my guy Plymouth Jim was a close second. PJ gets a little crazy and brings up and plays some drops. But he didn't make the cut this time. There were a lot of you that made your submissions. There's some really good ones. And there might be some more played this week. I'm not ruling it out. But here's our winner today, one of our everydayers, Audrey Powells. I think I'm pronouncing that name. Pauwels. We've heard from Audrey before. I loved her call. Here we go.
Matt, it's Audrey from Grand Rapids, and I have been bored this offseason, and I've been going back listening to previous episodes of like your thoughts and predictions, and then your analysis of draft picks, as well as when Campbell and Holmes were hired, and your take on the draft picks. For you liked the Hutch pick, but you loved the JMO pick, and now I'm wondering if you would reverse those. And also, what other takes did you have on 21, 22, 23 draft that now you may have changed or would definitely keep your opinions on from like your initial thought that you heard after draft night? Thanks. Love the show. Take care.
All right, Audrey. Thank you very much. Look, if you guys have, first of all, she's going back. She's so bored and getting ready for the season that she's going back and listening to old episodes. So thank you, Audrey, for doing that. There's some of you that do that and call me out. And wait, we all make mistakes. I've made some pretty bad ones sometimes. But on draft night, the biggest error that I ever made, and I will say the biggest, and again, it was an opinion at the time, but when they took Jahmyr Gibbs, I went crazy. When they took, what was it, Jahmyr Gibbs at 12 and Jack Campbell at 18, I made so much fun of that draft pick in 2023. I was like, what are they doing? They just took a running back in the first round and a middle linebacker 6 picks later. What are they thinking? A middle linebacker can be taken later. You don't need that. A running back, Jahmyr, this is the move they made, a small, undersized running back at Jahmyr Gibbs. And let me tell you something right now. I have so much egg on my face for that take because Jahmyr Gibbs is special. He is unbelievable. And the videos that they show of the Lions in the draft room going nuts over Pete Skoronski being taken a pick before by Tennessee and Brad Holmes smashing the table high-fiving, hugging Rod Wood about Jahmyr Gibbs falling in their lap after they traded back to get a couple of picks. It was just great. It was great TV. Jahmyr Gibbs is great. He's a great player. Right? And people throw around the word great all the time and everything else. But I was on the air on this show, on my own show, and on the draft special that Locked On did. And I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. Why would you take a running back at 12? You can get a running back later on. You can get Gibbs at 18, right? Why didn't they take, oh gosh, who did I want for the Lions? The kid from Tampa Bay Bucks. That was a interior pass rusher. His name escapes me, but that was who I wanted. But like, I was furious. And no, they probably couldn't have gotten Jahmyr Gibbs later on because other teams knew how good he was. Kalijah Cansey, that's who I wanted for the Lions. I'm like, get Cansey at one of those two picks, and they didn't take him at either. And the Bucks got him probably at 20 or 21 or something like that. So that one I was wrong about. I was right about Cansey, though. He's a good player. But that's the first one, Audrey, that comes to mind that I was extremely wrong about. And she brought up that I love the Aiden Hutchinson pick, but I did love when they trade up to get Jamison Williams. I love that. People think I'm this big J-Mo hater. I'm like, that kid's talented. What a move and a gutsy move by Brad Holmes to move up, and you get Hutchinson and J-Mo together. Just awesome. His drafts really have been very, very good. Terrion Arnold, we'll see, right? I like the player. But the year they got Laporta, Branch, Gibbs, and Campbell, that was a special draft. It really was. So I was kind of right about Broderick Martin. I did not like that pick at all. And I still don't. All right. Adam Burke tomorrow from VSiN is going to join us. We'll talk some odds and what Vegas is having to say about the Lions. We'll do that tomorrow. This has been a Monday edition of Locked On Lions. Thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts.